After the success of your first novel, was it difficult putting pen to paper and starting another?
It was very daunting. I think you write your first novel very much for yourself, in your own timescale. So writing a second one when you have so many people's expectations surrounding you, including your own, is tough. But once I had the idea and it had sort of solidified and I was fairly certain that it was going to be a powerful story, I really enjoyed writing it.
The main character in The Perfect Girl, Zoe, is a gifted pianist. Where did this idea come from? Did you draw from personal experience?
I really did draw from personal experience. My son is a really, really good pianist, and he has a group of friends who we've met through piano competitions and piano festivals locally. So we know a lot of teenagers who are in that world. It's not as extreme as the world that I portray in The Perfect Girl. It's a world they all very much enjoy, but it's also a world that I know, and I have seen on the periphery some of those very, very ambitious parents who do frighten me a little bit.
Can you describe the process by which you plan your novel?
So when I write a book, I tend to start with either a setup or a character that really intrigues me, and they've usually been on my mind for a while before I actually commit to writing their story. And once that's done, I start to try and settle on what the bare bones of what that book will be around that idea or that character. So I look for the main plot points, I jot those down, and once I have the skeleton there, I really just go for it and I start writing, because that process of writing brings with it a very intense concentration, and that I find leads to more and better ideas as I go along. It's a little bit haphazard, if I'm honest.
To your mind, what are the main themes explored in The Perfect Girl?
So this Perfect Girl looks very closely on what it means to be ambitious for our children, and the pitfalls of that, how far one can push them. That really intrigues me. It's a big thing in this day and age, and I see it all around me. It also looks at family loyalty. It looks at something a bit more prosaic, which is how the criminal justice system treats our youngsters, which is a really interesting and difficult area. It looks at second chances, whether life often offers us second chances. And I think it also looks at that age-old theme of thrillers, which is how secrets can unravel us.
How easy or difficult did you find delving into the mind of a teenager?
So I don't know whether it's because I haven't properly grown up, but I found this quite easy. I well remember what it's like to be a teenager, where you've got one foot as in the adult camp and one foot still in the child camp. You've got a very developed intelligence and sensitivity by then, but very little power over your own life, and that's a really fascinating state to be in. I also have teenage children, so I'm surrounded by teenagers much of the time at home, and I hope I understand a little bit about what they think about and talk about in this day and age.
What made you decide to write the novel from so many different points of view?
I love novels that are written from lots of different points of view. I love being able to get into different characters' heads, and I thought this would suit The Perfect Girl, which is a very claustrophobic, intense story with a small cast of characters who are thrown together over this very short time scale that the novel covers, only about 24 hours. And I felt it was a bit like a film where a camera travels around a room and goes in and out of conversations, and you kind of piece together what's happening. And I felt as a reader that would be quite an exciting way to travel through the story. I know I enjoy books like that.
Without giving anything away, did you know who killed Zoe's mum all along, or did you decide at the end?
I didn't know right at the beginning, but I decided very early on, because the plot's really intricate and I really needed to know who had done it in order to be able to try and lead the reader there in a most sort of tense and thrilling way as I possibly could.
And what are you working on now?
I'm working on my third book, and I'm really pleased to say that it's a return for D.I. Jim Clamo, who's the detective in my first book. And he's got another case, and the book will be looking at how he's moved on professionally and personally after the difficult experiences that he had in my first novel. It's been a thrill to go back to that character. It feels like meeting an old friend, so I'm very excited about the book.